Hello guys and gals, please forgive the low production value, but I was just too lazy to run it through another program. So this is a game I played this morning with the black pieces. Let me back up here. And it's instructive at some level, and I just thought I would share my thoughts about it with you. And you can see the computer evaluation here, and I've got the arrows set up for best computer moves. I made one major blunder which would have led to a draw, not a loss. So let's look at the moves and see. It's very interesting. Anyway, this player is rated 2,000 something on chess.com, and then I moved the file over to Lichess so I could use, I know how to use this software better. So he plays e4 and I play c5, Sicilian, and some kind of variation. As you all know, I don't study openings. And I develop, I like to be in the fight right from the beginning, like to mess with my opponent's mind and his moves and potentially get him out of his opening knowledge, right? That sort of thing. And not move into a losing position, right? Not make moves that are unprincipled at the same time. So we can look at the evaluation here, which is really interesting to me, which is what I always do after the game, to see if I'm completely blowing the opening or not. So, when your opponent pushes you around, right, you've made a nice natural developing move, knight to f6, and now he has chosen to push you, right? So he's wasted a tempo in that process, and now you get to move your knight, maybe to a better square, right, when your opponent pushes you around, and you're not losing, let's say, a good place for your piece. I mean, more and more now I'm just looking at how piece activity and how one piece, what kind of damage that one piece can do. Okay, so he moves to the center, and now he's attacking it. And you just keep looking at the evaluation to see that it's not bad. And now I want to immediately go after the e5 pawn, break up his center. And all right, so we have a 0 evaluation. I develop. He takes, and now I had a decision to take with the bishop or with the queen, and I was thinking, well, now that he's opened up the e-file for his rook, I decided to take with my queen, even though the computer says this is okay, because if he takes with the bishop, and pawn takes, then he'll really open me up. So that's why I decided to take with the queen. And now he takes that file, x-rays my king, and I thought I still had a chance to get my pieces situated and develop in castle. All right, and what do I do? Yeah, I develop, and yeah, so now he's threatening to attack my queen here, and so I decide. So you look at the first 3 evaluations, and the computer dances around which one it thinks is best. So, all right, so I bring my queen back, just get it out of that attack, and now he develops. Okay, look. So this is interesting. So he had a big decision to move the knight here or here. How are you going to develop, right? He probably didn't want to block his bishop. So when you give your opponent multiple decisions, they can make a suboptimal move. And that actually is where he went wrong, which is really interesting. And of course, he could have been guided by the principle of not moving your knight to the wing, right? But he thought he would be able to redevelop it, redeploy it to a better square probably fairly quickly. But that was really his undoing. So you can see the evaluation is -1.1. And not later. I actually thought he blew it later, but the computer actually showed it was his best move at that time. So you'll see that in a moment. All right, so now I'm going to go after his light squared bishop and see if I can. All right, so I go all the way, get that space. Yeah, so he redeploys his knight, but traps his bishop in the process. Yeah, you can see the evaluation go up to -1.7. And so he goes there. And, this is an interesting decision for me right now. And you can see the computer decided to do what I did. And I'm just going for the bishop pair, and I thought in this position that it was reasonable to waste the tempo going after that bishop. So considering the e5 square is already, he already owns the e5 square with his knight and rook. So I'm just going after the bishop pair here and getting rid of that bishop. And I take it now because, you know, now he has an escape square on c2. So I take it. Look at the evaluation. Yeah, mainly because I got the bishop, and my guess anyway. And I'm getting the, you know, I have this nice long diagonal for my bishop on a knight, which is already compromised because this pawn has been moved. He takes, and now I develop the bishop, defending my rook, most importantly. And so we have a minus 2.7. So if I play reasonably well, then hopefully we can convert this into a win. All right, so boom, I castle. And now I'm starting to see, okay, if I can get my queen and bishop battery on this knight, we've got an initiative. And so it's interesting. Now it's minus 3.2. Even with moving the knight, well, he can't move the knight. I'm going to just check him and win this pawn. So this is a real serious, well, once I get my queen battery in there. But it's interesting that even if he brings his knight in now, preventing that battery, the computer still shows a pretty big advantage for black. Anyway, we're not going to go down that line. I might do that after this video, but so he takes, and then I do throw in the in-between move, right? He took a pawn, but I'm going to threaten to win a piece. And you see the evaluation just shoots up. And it really all had to do with his knight developing onto the a3 square. And so he blocks with the king, but you know, look, the computer shows that as the best move, right? And now I come up with some convoluted ideas about how to take advantage of that pin on the knight, and decided that g5 was reasonable. And the computer says it ain't bad, which was really great. I was really glad to go over this because I wasn't positive about this. I mean, I calculated to the best of my abilities. And yeah, so I'm still going after that idea, and we'll see here shortly where I completely give up the advantage, but he didn't capitalize on it. He could have gotten a draw. Let's just put it that way. I'm glad it wasn't a loss for me. So yeah, I want to remove, here's the thing, I want to remove this knight, right, so that I can take this and really cause some damage over there. All right, so it's reasonable. I still have the advantage, and he attacks the bishop, and I pop him off as I wanted. All right, so the evaluation is going down. And now I should have defended the pawn according to the computer, but you know, this is a 10-minute game, and you know, I didn't see, you know, that I would be able to continue my attack well, but I have a good enough advantage that I probably could have just pushed these pawns with the support of the rooks, which I do eventually anyway. All right, so I take, and he should have captured the pawn with check and then win my knight. But you can see the evaluation is equal, right? All right, so it wasn't a loss for me, but the point is the instructive element of this game really is the deployment of the right development of your pieces, and then once you get an advantage like this pin, you just stay on it, right? You keep trying to add pressure to that so you can capitalize on it and convert it rather. All right, so he takes. So that was a huge mistake. He should have checked me and gone for the draw. And now I come here, and well, he thought he probably had other possibilities, and he gets out of the pin, and now is threatening the pawn, but not really. I mean, I have this wonderful check here with the queen, and now I'm going to push the pawns and drive them home over this way. Even though I expose my king, my men are situated for defense, and so I still have the attack. All right, now I'm threatening the fork, win the queen. I'll just play the rest of the game out, but all right, so here, now I've got a triple attack on the knight, and it'll be game over shortly. So take, and he resigns. So anyway, I hope you found something you can take away and use in your games, and I'll talk to you later.